Typically, the companions that I tend to take out on missions are...
Someone from Monarch recently delivered a lifetime supply of Borstwurst. It would appear you've made friends.
Hey!
I thought about hiding in a crate, but they all smell sort of funny.
Maybe she'll come back up as a companion in a future DLC? Because she's on the ship, and she's not, like, got specific lines for me.
This change of scenery sure is something. Can't wait to see the groundbreaker.
Never mind, I'm delivering to the groundbreaker. Okay, Trem Cleaver. Okay, yeah, those are the extra equipment of the rest of the team. Don't really need to worry about those. Let's quickly just repair the things that we actually end up using. Okay, and then we'll also see if there's any of these that are cheap enough to tinker with. We could tinker with the most dangerous game. And should do as well. What's your opinion on black licorice? Positive, but I prefer red. Has to be positive. Although I was definitely off-put by black licorice for a huge period of time after... Yeah, the people we take out are Felix and Pavati because they are just the cinnamon buns of the group. But my opinion on black licorice for at least a week or probably up to a month was soured because I had a night drinking a lot of absinthe, which is strong on aniseed, and so is the smell of licorice. And I was working in confectionery the day after I became extraordinarily drunk on absinthe with a very, very large hangover. I was working in the back docks of a store that sold confectionery, and in particular in a non-ventilated area that was full of the licorice smell. So I was just the whole day. Wasn't ill, but it was a torturous, torturous day. Just nauseous for 8 hours in a row. That's why I don't drink Jim Beam anymore. Yeah, there are a couple of rums on that list as well that I don't drink for a similar reason. What about salted licorice? I don't know if I've ever enjoyed any salted licorice. That is not to say that I've never had any. Sorry, no, that is to say that I've never had any, not to say that I've never had any I enjoyed. Rather, let me clarify that. Red tape of command. Okay, so that's the area that we're going back to if we want to. Chem lower lab exterior, we can use that to go out. Okay, love that. Is it a little laggy, or is that in my end? As the planet's loading, it should be a little laggy. It might have... Should be okay. Doesn't show that I'm dropping any frames, and we are on the same frame rate. Should be okay. Generally speaking, spending a night drinking absinthe rarely ends well. Oh, 100%. If you've entered a bar and the first thing you did is go to the bar, like straight up to the bar and order 2 shots of absinthe for you and your friend, and then you drank both of them yourself because you weren't going to give another one to a friend, that was never the plan. It was just so that you could get 2 shots of absinthe at the same time. Now, you're never going to have a good night. Source, me. I've done that. Wasn't a good night. This is the building we're not going into. Okay, go around. Shots of absinthe. Yeah, if you're in like a bar, like a dive bar, they're not gonna drip it over over a sugar cube with water for you. Those kinds of bars have absinthe on stock exclusively for the kinds of people that walk up and go, "Hi, I'm far too sober at the moment and I need to fix that." Oh, really? We have to get out of here? Cool. Right, there is still a way out. Let's mix it with water over ice. Good enough. Fair enough. There's a bar in my hometown that did the full absinthe treatment. There was one in Oz as well, yeah. It was I was there once, and it was an experience. Just... I think that might have been after my other absinthe experience, because I remember I spent that whole night anxious naturally, but nauseous as well. Okay, we're not currently holding dangerous game out. Let's do that. Hopefully this isn't one of the areas that's just completely littered with primals, because we are just gosh awful against those. Okay. So as to situations in the current narrative, though, we have just overridden an executive lockdown in a specific area of Gorgon, so that we might try and access it and find the notes of Olivia Ambrose, the mother of the person who hired us to do this job. Lucky Montoya died doing this job and recommended us to try and continue it for Wilhelmina. I don't need alcohol to have a terrible night. That's... I mean, you save so much money if you don't need it to have a terrible night, right? Okay, that's Marauder Colossus. Looks like that one's probably not broken. Marauder Plunderer, Colossus. Okay. Let's stand further away. What do we got on the... We have one of ours with a silencer. That's the Deadeye Assault. Most dangerous game. Not silenced, not silenced. Wow, okay, so we're not actually currently holding out the one that's silencer. Why? Is that the wrong one? Hunting Rifle Ultra? It is pristine? Yeah, no, Hyper is the new one. Yeah, Hyper is the new one. That's fine. Can we find slightly better weapon for taking these out? No. All right. Okay. I mean, look, if they are going to take that long to actually approach, my companions aren't even worrying about trying to help here. They know it's not necessary. Well done, Crackshot. You actually... Whoa! Okay, companions, you could have done something about that one. That at least would have been nice of you. Alright, I think I'm trying to do a lot of sneaking, but now that we're out of the sneak area, I need to set Felix and Pavati to have different modes. Only attacks if told specifically to. Once told to attack a target, they'll continue to fight until it's over. They'll engage whenever I enter combat. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll have them both engage whenever I enter combat then. Okay, so if those bots didn't get back up and the Marauders are here instead, I think that means the Marauders have been trying to break up into this location. And they too have been trying to overwhelm the executive override, which probably means that after I start going in here, it might start getting taken over by Marauders for a kind of like combat arena kind of situation. So if we walk in here and there's an empty combat arena, we know it's going to be used later.
After you, boss.
Let's move quick and stick together. Ain't no one dying on my watch.
Access to the upper levels is currently unrestricted for authorized personnel. Please be sure to check each employee's credentials before unsealing the main entrance. Unseal the door. Let's try and keep an eye on the ridge. Nope, nothing. Alright, let's go in. Ah, yes, the Geneva suggestions, says Abathov. Sorry, I just really enjoyed that turn of phrase. Pam? So, yes, Marauders have been breaking in, and yes, the bots have been taking care of them. But, that's named eerily similar to Sam. This is definitely going to be a sneak around it situation, right? That's Sam's ex? Wow. Also, wait, there's no lore about it yet? Okay, cool. We'll see. We'll see. We're probably going to end up having some sort of an interaction between the two of those. Maybe we go back and we get Sam and come back out here. It's possible. Got some Adrena. Love just having all the lockpicking stats that I really need to open everything. Oh, spaceship. No reason not to take that. I don't remember the last time I actually got over encumbered in this game, so. Ooh, pick up the Grave Digger. Dig your enemy's grave, then put him in it. It is a unique shovel type weapon. What does it do? Dig your enemy's grave and then put them in it. So if I had to assume, maybe it's like if you hit the ground first, your next attack does more damage. But also, like, it's a level 1 weapon. It has to have a pretty good effect to be placed here in the DLC. Save and see if it might be friendly. I don't want to try and do, like, many save loads if I can avoid it. Ooh, Mark II helm with ballistics. Nice. Defensive helmet, just in case that comes in handy. That's a sneak +5, don't need that. This one was, yeah. Okay, good. Mouse sensitivity was off. Let's pop the weapon down. We're not going to need that right now, at least. 8 cases, Bumblebee, Pale KLL, Borst and Baked Beans, Woolly Milk, Spacer's Choice, Tarmac and Cheese. I guess this is just input. To Adrena Time Synthesizer Service Elevator. So that's going to be the way that we exit out of the building after completing the mission in here. Just going to keep going around the side here. If we end up being about to leave this facility without having interacted with Pam, then yeah, I'll save and go talk.
If I didn't know better, I'd swear it was watching me.
I'm surprised this fountain still works.
Okay, there's the way up, but here's the unrestricted access to the upper levels. Let's go over the other side and check that first. I was kind of hoping it was going to make a digging motion. Yeah, similarly, Emmy. Do you want spoilers about Pam? Nope, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for asking. I can't see what killed these. It might have been Pam, but Pam seems very stationary. More like a turret than a droid. Ooh, Colossus. Absolutely giant man with a light machine gun that I don't really care about. Light assault rifle I also don't really care about. When seeking for Gravedigger info, I found a reminder of the time that we had to go collect gravesite fees early on. The very, like, one of the very first missions. Nothing useful behind this bar. We'll take Perfecto. Don't really think it's necessary at all, though. Alright. Whoever killed them didn't loot them, so it was probably robotic or automated in some way. Yeah, but also, like, ambient corpses in this game always had their loot on them. Like, we saw that outside as well. Even if those marauders were killed by marauders, they'd still have their loot. Alright. I'll quickly pass a quick save before we go further up. Just in case. My spidey sense is giving me a little bit of a tingle right now, so... We've got auto mechanicals in this area, so I'm going to swap back to the Medal of Honor. There'll be an army of 1 with this rifle. I imagine that Medal of Honor probably does extra damage if we're alone, then. Army of 1 kind of thing. But we'll get Thunder back on. Instead of the N-Rays. N-Rays do nothing against automechs. It's weird, like... So, I'm assuming some of you have played The Outer Worlds. they keep giving you like all of these vending machines, but vending machines play so little of a role in my gameplay. Has anyone actually had like vending machines really matter much at all to them? It feels like they're never the good way to get any equipment. Like, I really struggle to think of an occasion where I really needed something from one of them. If anything, they're just there for me to sell off my junk. Speaking of, let's do some of that. So especially because it comes up on the screen and gives you a notification every time you find one, it feels weird. Like, does the game expect them to be more useful than they actually are? Are they actually useful and I just don't utilize them? Tactical shotgun 3. I'll take that just in case we get Vic and Max back out for a mission. I always just end up using vending machines to sell all my heavy junk. That's it, yeah. So it could effectively be accomplished by the same way that Torchlight did it, like give you a pet that you can send back to town in order to sell stuff off. Selling of junk is fairly useful. While it is, like, I don't think it, like, I don't think this many of them needed to exist, you know? Okay, hang on, there was movement in that room. Okay, so there's a marauder in there. No extra anything. Oh, mag pick. Take those just in case. I feel like they're more thematic than useful. Yeah. It's very true. Entrance not for use by tech support to HR and accounting. Oh, but it's barred. Okay, so yeah, we actually do have to go through the other entrance. They are very thematic. It's just... I don't know. I think with the amount of games that I end up playing, I feel like a lot of the time I'm driven to think about why is this here? Why did they make this like this? And all the reasons for having as many as they do in the game seem weird to me. We're just short of killing people with sneak shots right now. Sneak attack damage plus 25. Bonus to extra critical and weak spot damage. Same slots. I don't know. I need just like... just a little more, you know?
Take him down!
Very slightly much more damage and I would be able to one-shot all of these cretins.
You like that?
Oh, that is true. I can just... Ooh, actually, hang on. Let's see. Is there anything that's sort by... Value weight, value to rate ratio, name value. I guess let's go by value. There we go. Extra critical damage plus 15% and bonus to headshot weak spot damage plus 25% in the last 25 seconds. So I'm going to pop that in the consumable so I can just huff that if I really need to take people out really quickly and quietly. And also that means now I'm looking for more Oxycomp aromatic. Got it. Current user is S. Tinsley. To Newell V. Subject, out of sock. Mr. Newell, no, there are no socks involved in the production of Space's Choice Terra-Fried Spratwurst. The T hologram on the machine is likely just malfunctioning. It should read, out of stock. Best, Sam Tinsley, technical support. Love it. To Sutherland T, subject RE return button. Miss Sutherland, I regret to inform you that the vending machines do not take returns. Please do not try to fit your can of Space's Choice Gourmet Saltuna fillets into the bit cartridge slot, as it will damage the machine and prevent other employees from using it. Thank you so much for your time. So much. Sincerely, Sam Tinsley, technical support. Sleep well, Isu. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's return to root and then bounce. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna have a lot of terminals here, I think. T. Jaramillo has sent a notice to Putnam H. Subject, a note on notes. Harold, preposterous morning. This is an informal reminder that your adhesive notes are intended to track your trouble tickets. Please do not use your adhesive notes to create patterns on your divider wall. I'd hate to remind you how unsanctioned aesthetic expression is strictly contrary to spacer's choice law, and I'd absolutely hate to be reprimanded because I didn't warn you. Please endeavor to use adhesive notes in a manner prescribed by the Spacer's Choice official guidelines. Sincerely, Tony Jaramillo. Michael! Friendly language for friendly office. Michael, this is just to tell you that I've reported your recent unsanctioned language to human resources. You were talking about seeing some of your colleagues act paranoid and violent. Then try to remember the new guidelines from corporate. Don't call your colleagues paranoid. They're experiencing dramatically heightened attention. Don't call them violent. They're showing physically assertive behavior. I'm as concerned as you are about the curious and surprising behavior we've been seeing around the premises, but geez, try to keep your language sanitized. Clean language is a matter of security. Sincerely, Tony Jaramillo. Hey, Spicy Raider. How's it going? Thank you very much for the raid. You were playing Minecraft. Ooh, good to see. It's how was it? Welcome to the Raiders as well. Thank you so much. It's currently ourselves in the middle. Ooh, actually, let's test our previous strat, right? See if this works.
Look at us!
Nice one.
It works. It was fun. I was playing this game before though. Ah, right. Similarly doing the Peril on Gorgon DLC. I'll give you a little forewarning. I am currently doing the Peril on Gorgon DLC, and I am nearing what I believe is about to be a kind of like large cinematic moment. So it's possible it could be a spoiler. From Vargas J to Isaac A. Subject, inappropriate automech. Sir, I promise you, no automechanical in the galaxy is capable of falling in love with you. It is far outside their set of capabilities. If there is a legitimate reason that this current automechanical is not fulfilling your department needs, please file a request for an upgrade using form AM-265B with permission from your manager. Thank you. From Vargas J to Isaacs A again. No, sir, that was not a comment about your inability to secure a marriage contract. No automechanical is capable of loving you because they are literally not capable of loving anyone. Automechanicals function through a simple series of state machines that are designed to problem solve for a limited list of scenarios. These scenarios are all directly related to the task that the automechanical was created for. In other words, a security automechanical might be able to question unauthorized personnel about where they left their biometric ID card, but a chef automechanical can only ask them if they want extra salt. Even if, in theory, an automechanical was deliberately modified to learn speech patterns and how to mimic human behavior, these behaviors would be in hollow imitation. So, if your automechanical assistant really did make a comment about your posterior, it was because they were programmed to say it, that's all. Judith Vargas. So we just have automechanical running around just complimenting butts. Nice. What is it with Obsidian and creating robots that are obsessed with people's behinds? I remember Fisto. Judith. Oh, from Lou to Judith. Subject is don't transfer. Judith, now is not the best time to request a transfer. I've got a reliable source that tells me the OCI may be under official audit soon. There's been some word of some kind of corporate sabotage. I wouldn't request a transfer to the chem labs either. They've just had their budget and personnel slashed. Trust me, you don't want to be associated with either office. Stay with us. We know what we're doing. Nice, so be careful of spoilers then. Fair enough. Thank you, Spicy Raider. But, again, as well, thank you very much for the raid. All right, that's all of the options we get from this one. Put that away and continue. If a security were programmed to love and appreciate my posterior, could it? Yeah, it certainly could, but it'd be a hollow imitation of other people's, of the programmers' love for your posterior. Certainly. Dragon Time, thank you very much for the bit. This is number 3. Okay, servos here as well. I mean, look, if nothing else, I'm gonna get some trash to sell later. Wait, hang on. This one had the Adrena Time and necklace, because yeah, we just vaporize all of our enemies at this point. Kinetic pulse redistributor. No, don't need that. I also really wish the mod system in this game was more expansive. That is to say, like the modifications and such. Personnel files for M. Liu. Retrieving personnel files, stand by. Ooh, interesting. Files located. Tech support would like to remind all employees that it is not the messenger menu. Saving these files will not send a message to another Space of Choice employee, even if it is saved to a directory with the same name as said employee. Thank you. Auto mechanical repair, power siphoning, and PAM weapons tuning. File name, PAM, power siphoning, primary author, M. Liu. With the battery shortage, I needed to find a way to recharge PAM in a pinch. Vargas and I have had to divide up all the remaining batteries, and eventually even those won't hold much of a charge. At least, not if you just plug the unit into the wall as designed. Turns out, though, Space of Choice batteries actually only charge at half capacity if you use them as intended. I think it's planned obsolescence. They want the batteries to wear out sooner, so folks buy more of them. Doesn't make much sense to do it at your own facilities, in my opinion, but what the fuck do I know, right? Anyway, I think I found a way to bypass it. At least on the bipedal models. If you take 2 similar units, link their power batteries, and initiate a surge from one unit to the other, it should force the battery to use its full capacity. Basically, I can double the lifespan of our batteries by having the units jumpstart one another. Not gonna use it yet, though. Always a chance someone catches wind of it and they close the loophole, so I'd better save it for an emergency. Okay, so Pam is here to power up Sam, right? Is that the thing? Or maybe we can use Sam to power up Pam, and then just have Pam be an accomplice for some of the missions in here. Pam weapon tuning. I can't believe they gave Pam a goddamn N-ray cannon. Talk about overkill. There's not much in the galaxy deadlier than N-ray radiation, and once it's let loose, it's hard to contain. Most living things seem to give it off in microscopic doses, not enough to be harmful on its own, but enough to draw larger, deadlier masses of N-rays from one living thing to another within a certain radius. Which means I need to take extra care to make sure Pam's cannon is tuned for maximum precision. If the barrel is even 1 degree out of alignment, you'd risk thousands of bits in collateral damage every time she fires it. We also have messages from Vargas, or rather 2 Vargas, keep your head down, and then Aria. Okay, so 2J Vargas, keep your head down. Last week, a pair of technicians at my designated workplace fell into a pretty bad row. There were a lot of seditious words used. I don't want to repeat them here. Management stepped in, and I haven't seen them since. I don't think their indenturement contracts were nullified, otherwise I would have received a reprimand myself on account of having worked with the terminated colleagues. They haven't been in their domiciles, and they haven't been at their stations. I don't think they were fired. I think they deserted. I'm not going to share the names, because I don't want that on my audit record. All I know is this. The office isn't working the way it should. Dr. Ambrose is nervous, and when she's nervous, we're all nervous. All right. Ari, keep your head down. So we should keep an eye out for any 2 names that pop out as having left early. Michael. One of my colleagues disappeared 3 nights ago. She'd been falling behind on her deadlines and was medicating herself with the AT. I'm jealous of her work ethic, but I can't imagine what compelled her to just disappear. Frankly, I'm glad. She was starting to make me look bad. There's something strange happening in the office, and I don't know what to make of it. Nothing's gone according to plan. Clarence Mosley had a phrase he muttered now and then. The Bancroft coefficient is approaching 1. Apparently there's some fellow named Lucian Bancroft. If he's real, Dr. Ambrose answers to him. I think it's a cipher or a code name or something. A cipher or a code name? Or is that an obvious anagram of a name we know? Lucian Bancroft? Nothing comes to mind? I don't know how chaotic or messy a project has to be before that coefficient hits 1. But I know bad things happen when Lucian Bancroft shows up. Contracts nullified, waste disposed, assets eliminated. Yeah, I'll keep my head down. Judith. Okay, so now we have another suspect for the voices we've been hearing. Possibly Bancroft, after trying to lock the facility down. Or someone to try and protect themselves against Bancroft. It seems more like someone trying to protect themselves against Bancroft. Bancroft would have the ability to just kind of like nuke this asteroid. Personal files for... yeah. Character form, Halcyon Hank. Name, Halcyon Hank. Class, upper. Vocation, free market champion. Backstory. Halcyon Hank is the long-lost brother. Halcyon Hank is the long-lost brother of Halcyon Helen. At the age of 7, he saved his family from a pirate attack, but had to leave the ship in a separate escape pod. While the rest of the family was rescued by a passing patrol, Hank's escape pod landed on Monarch, where he had to survive in the wild. Raised by raptidons, he foiled numerous schemes concocted by the cannibalistic iconoclasts, who were trying to spread their listless, dependent way of life across the galaxy. Now he's finally made it off Monarch and is ready to save Halcyon from... insert whoever Sally makes as the villain here. Addendum. Ask if Sally can make a supporting character that's Hank's love interest. She promised she would last time. Okay, so this is like a Dungeons and Dragons. I like that in Dungeons and Dragons, the classes are... upper. Not bard, upper. Yeah, it's definitely. From Garcia S, canceling our session. Harold's. I've just sent management my cancellation form regarding our systems and serfdom session. Yeah. I've been told I wouldn't receive a refund on my leisure time as I purchased for our group. I'll handle the cancellations fees too. Let's not talk about what happened with Colin at last session. Let's not talk about Colin at all. Not to management, not to medical either. If you need something for the injury, I'll see about getting you some AT. Sally. Okay, so Colin went mad at the previous sessions and serfdoms. Due to likely adrenotime. Okay, and now we are out of individual offices, I believe. Unless this one? Nope. Okay, just making absolutely certain because it's quite a large room. Don't want to miss something key and move on. Easy. Speaking of D&D, how's Leeloff doing since their new incarnation? That's something I actually did want to talk about as well. Thank you for asking. The new incarnation is named Rocky. They are a full orc wielding a great maul, and they have a magic item that's a cursed item that I don't even know the details of yet. It was decided by my DM, and Peak actually suggested part of it to the DM. But so they're an orc with their right hand side is completely tattooed with just like a tattoo going down kind of like from the bottom of the neck across, and that tattoo glows when they do wild surge stuff. So they are a wild surge barbarian in particular. So I don't know if any of you have seen the wild surge barbarian, because there was like a spoiler, like a teaser tester version of it that came out ages ago. However, they've released the revised information that's going to be included in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And the wild surge charges that you trigger as a barbarian, you trigger them when you enter rage, and usually they give you an effect for the rest of the fight. So like one of them is just chest burst, and it is every single turn as your bonus action, you have the ability to do 1d6 radiant damage if the enemy fails a constitution save. However, you also blind them until the start of your next round, so you get all of your advantage. They get disadvantaged constantly. It is so... it's so cool, that one. But also at level 10, we're all at level 8 at the moment. We level up reasonably commonly. But at level 10, anytime you get hit, you have the ability to redo your surge. So it's pretty wild. Also, the tattoo is obviously involved in the wild magic surge because here's the spoiler part that I have to talk a little quieter for. Leoloth had a Wand of Wonder and was very much about just casting chaotic effects constantly. And Leoloth also did something very, very, very bad and feels like they tried to save people and killed a lot of people accidentally. And they are very, very qualmed about that. So the story was that Leoloth, over the course of their campaign, whenever the campaign ended, the Wand of Wonder broke, and in doing so, effectively, transported, unleashed, Leoloth the character was imbued with a bunch of wild magic energy as a result of that, and then just straight up kicked out of the plane into a different plane. Specifically into a different prime material plane. We're talking about a different universe, right, for a different campaign. And then they were reincarnated as Bear at the time. And Bear had a satchel of ash that they would dip into in order to kind of do war paint things before every fight. And then the war paint would glow whenever they were doing wild magic things, because that's the idea, is they are channeling the power of the Wand of Wonder that Leoloth had and effectively joined with. So then after Bear died, effectively, we're going with the idea of the force of Leoloth still has something to do in the world and reincarnated again to try and accomplish it. And so the tattoo is now effectively our Wand of Wonder, right? However, the tattoo already has magical effects as well, cursed effects in particular. So I know one of the triggers, but I don't know the other trigger. I know one trigger is if I crit, I roll on a special wild magic surge table. It's a D100 magic surge table, but every effect has something. It's not 11 to 24, you cast Fairy Fire or something like that, right? 12 is Fly, 13 is Transmute to Gold, those kinds of things, right? Every individual. So it's going to be very exciting to see how well they do. Also, it's probably the first incarnation of Leoloth that hasn't been an actor in some way. They are very much big and gruff and just built like a shit brick house, twice as tall, 3 times as wide, very. But also because they, I've given the same excuse of washed up on a beach with amnesia, but literally that's what happened because they just got made. They literally just came into existence, so of course they don't remember anything before that. But because of that, I've had all of these fun moments because the campaign's set in Waterdeep, of my character has come into Waterdeep and just doesn't know anything about society and how things work. So there was a solid 20 to 30 minute scene with a couple of us trying to describe how paying someone for something works, and what currency is, and why people work based on a currency system. And then effectively we ended up having a discussion about the feudal system of Waterdeep. It was really, really fun, and really situating them in the world is kind of I'm not dumb, I just don't know any of these things that you're talking about because it's super foreign to me, and you're gonna have to explain why they're like this. Is it a custom 5e campaign? We're actually doing it's highly customized, but it's I think it's based on the. So we just did Dragon's Horde. I think this is based on Mad Mage, I think. Don't hold me to account for that. This is lockpick. I got lockpick bod kit. I should probably get aggressive armor back on, right? What was the other one we were holding with? Hack. Yeah, okay, that makes sense as to why we were taking so much damage. Bonus points if immediately afterwards mentioned some location in Waterdeep and you led the way there, not actively asking yourself why you knew the location. Unfortunately, no. There is no such Harry-ness to it because the character really does not know. mean, at least it's pristine. Okay.
Wow, nice work.
It's a Colossus, so Olivia's journal is already here. Interesting. It's
That's what you get.
uh-oh.
You okay, Captain?
The enemies are drugged. They're moving faster than normal and firing faster than normal. I'm gonna have to be careful in this area. Pristine, we cleaned out most of the brains of the helmet. Hey, I found that one on a shelf. It's totally pristine. That was not. I mean, accidentally collected it anyway. I've got to remember, I'm supposed to be collecting all of these.
All right, let's dance.
Don't mess with us.
Hey, I'm supposed to be collecting all of the weapons just so I can trash them. Remember to drug up before contact for instant kills? Yeah, there's just not enough enemies in this room really to justify that, I don't think. Good suggestion, though. And we'll make sure to keep it in mind for the future. Okay. So if that's the journal, then we know that we need to go every other location first. RPG rules. As I mention every time I play this game. Okay, so that's going to lead to a different area of the facility, and these are going to be either the ways out. And this loops back around to the previous. Okay. So the only other location we can go that is not towards completion right now is off to the left of this room. It's entirely possible that's locked anyway. All right, this is the menu for K. Blomstead's Gimsey system here. To Norwood C. About employee exchange. We are a senior regional vice manager of human resources, right? Spice's Choice is aware of Dr. Lowe's eccentric habits. Yes, Dr. Lowe medicates himself with experimental drugs of his own design. No, we have not mentioned this flaw in Dr. Lowe's character in our exchange contract with Auntie Cleo. We believe Dr. Lowe's behavior is consistent with the values of our rival company. Dr. Lowe and Auntie Cleo are, in the opinion of Space's Choice, an ideal match. Both Dr. Lowe and Auntie Cleo's company believe themselves to be better than nature. Please be informed that Auntie Cleo has generously offered at least 3 senior personnel in exchange for Dr. Lowe. It is Space's Choice company policy to accept any bargain in our favor. Sincerely, K. Blomstead. Also to Liu on semantic hygiene. Ah, right, so this is the same kind of reprimand based on talking about erratic and acting and aggressive colleagues. Michael, the office has reviewed your report of unlawful behavior exhibited by certain colleagues at your designated workplace. We find the contents of your report alarming and inconsistent with the values and visions of the Space's Choice family. While it is a duty of every member in the family to report seditious and unlawful behavior, it is important to express your report using appropriate company-approved language. Your description of violent outbursts and aggressive behavior from your colleagues is problematic. Furthermore, the office disapproves of your obvious exaggerations of any physical injuries sustained in your alleged altercations with your colleagues. Space's Choice is not liable or responsible for any injuries caused by Space's Choice property, including machinery or other co-workers. Your description of your colleagues' behavior portrays Space's Choice in an unflattering light and will be stricken from any official record. Do not discuss, describe, or imply contents of your report to co-workers. Sincerely, K. Blomstead.